How you doing, YouTube folks? So in this video that I'm fixing to post after I record it all and whatnot, it's about admiralty law. I do paralegal work. I'm a self-taught paralegal. I've done many complex cases for people. I specialize in contract law, which is usually admiralty law. Basically, how it breaks down is like this. You cannot tell me in the United States of America, and in any common law jurisdiction for that matter, that I've committed a crime if there's no injured party. Okay, so in other words, if I punch somebody in the face, okay, I've harmed another human being. I've caused them physical harm. If I damage somebody's property, there's an injured party. Burn down their house or somehow bring about harm to their property. Those are the first two crimes you can commit. The third one is fraud in your contracts. You cannot have fraud. You cannot say you're going to do something for somebody and then not do it and then collect the money. That's fraud. There are no other crimes that you can commit in any common law jurisdiction. United States of America is a common law jurisdiction. You can look that up if you like. You don't have to take my word for it. In fact, I encourage everybody to do their own research. It's a very deep well. Now, lawyers are beholden to the bar. Okay, the bar is the British Accreditation Registry, and they say, oh, our utmost concern is to look after our client's best interest. That's a whole lot of shit right there. Where do I go in here? Miami? Yeah. Their number one priority is to make sure that they don't get disbarred. Okay? And even though they say they've got their client's best interest at heart, they don't. They have to maintain loyalty to the bar. So they can't tell you what I'm about to tell you. They can't represent you in the manner that I'm about to tell you about how you represent yourself. So having said that, there's only 3 crimes you can commit: harm to another human being, harm to another person's property, or fraud in your contracts. Everything else that they have called law is actually contract law. Okay, now in order for a contract to be valid, they have to get your consent. But let me take a step back for a minute and explain to you why it's contract law. Like, let's say for example, I'm driving down the street here and I decide to smoke a joint. All right, I'm in Florida. I'm not in Colorado or Washington or any of the states where they've deemed it legal. I'm in Florida here, and a cop sees me and pulls me over and says, no, that's illegal. Pot's illegal. That's a crime. Oh, really? It's a crime. Okay. So show me who I've harmed. What? I'm sorry? Oh, you can't produce an injured party. Oh, I see. Well, then you must be trying to contract with me. And that's the beautiful thing about contracts, is that you can contract with anyone you like. You don't have to contract with anyone that you don't want to contract with. I can't force you to paint my entire house for $5, now can I? You're going to want a fair market price for that. So you can decline that contract. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it. So how it breaks down is like this, okay? How they say it's a crime is like this. Hey man, you gonna let me in or what? Come on, man. Thank you. How it breaks down is like this, okay? Let's go back to the joint fucking example. So it's illegal under the Controlled Substances Act, okay? So everyone thinks that it's illegal. It's right there in the Controlled Substances Act. You can't do cocaine, you can't do you can't do pot, you can't do nothing. It's all illegal. Okay, now, nobody really questions it. Nobody really says, well, how did this come about? Nobody questions the words they use. That's the biggest trickery that the law and lawyers and judges and magistrates use is they don't use the same words in English that they do in law. They sound like they're in English, but they mean different things in a court of law. So let's break down what is the Controlled Substances Act. Controlled, meaning they control it, substances, self-explanatory. Act, what the hell does that word mean? Act, what is an act? So if you do your research on that, you'll find out that an act is defined as a legislated rule of society that has been given the force of law. All right, so it seems pretty crystal clear that it's legislated, meaning the politicians have got amongst themselves and wrote up a bill and passed it through the House and Senate, and they made it law, and that's that. No, that's not that. A legislated, got it, rule of society. Oh, let's put on the brakes right there. Rule of society. What is this word society? Legislated rule of society. Well, if you research the word society, they are talking about two distinct groups of people, okay? Society refers to members of the Bar Association. There's those guys again, okay? Members of the bar, so lawyers, and anyone that is a member of the bar, like magistrates and judges and all these people, and employees of the federal government. That's who the word society refers to. Now, let me ask you, are you a member of the Bar Society? I know I'm not. Nor am I an employee of the federal government. I work for myself. All right, I'll let you buy. So, I'm not a member of the Bar Society, nor am I an employee of the federal government. But here's where they really try to trick you and get you and rope you into this whole scenario is if you have a social security number, or in Canada a social insurance number, or any of the Commonwealth nations where common law applies, the United Kingdom, Jamaica, Barbados, any of these common law jurisdictions, if you have their 9-digit number, you know, they say that you have to have one to work and all that. That's another topic altogether. I'm not asking anyone for permission to provide for myself or my family. I'm just not. I'm not asking for permission. But anyways, I won't digress any further on that. That's a subject for another video, another day. I'm not asking anyone for permission to go about my business. So what they end up making you do is get a social security number in order to do that. Well, guess what? There's the bad news. There's the rub, is that you are a de facto employee of the federal government if you possess that 9-digit number, that social security number here in the States. And that's where they can kind of rope you in. But there are avenues. There are very sound legal avenues, because if you take out all your identification right now, go ahead, I'll hold for a minute, get out your driver's license or your birth certificate or your social security number, anything that's issued by the government. What they'll do is they'll capitalize your name, okay? That's not you. That's a fictional corporation they created in the exact same name as you. For instance, my name is Todd. I spell that with a capital T, a small O, a small D, a small d. That's how I spell my name. That's how most people spell their name. And that is who I am. That's a flesh and blood human being right there. I'm one of God's creatures. So that's how I spell my name. That's who I am. What the government does is they take that name, they create a fictional corporation, and in order to do that legally, they capitalize all the letters. Well, guess what, folks? That ain't me. That's a fictional straw man corporation that they've made in the exact same name as you, and you think it's you. It isn't. That isn't you. That's strictly a faceless, nameless corporation that you think is you, but it isn't. So any police officer, and by the way, think of the name, right? Police. What are they doing? They're enforcing policies, the government's policy. So if you work at Walmart, they're going to have a policy of, not showing up for work with alcohol in your breath. You got to pass a drug test maybe. They've got different rules of employment. So that's what the police do. They enforce policy. That's where the word police come from. They're policy enforcers. But so I go to court. They've charged me with contravening the Controlled Substances Act. The first thing they're going to want to know is what my name is. And I'll stand up in a court of law and I'll say, I'm perfectly happy to give you my name. Oh, we got a bit of a wreck here. I got to slide on by. I'm perfectly happy to give you my name, but under no circumstances are you to use my name in a commercial manner. Because they're trying to make me cop to that capitalized name. And I won't do it. I'm a flesh and blood and human being. I'm not a faceless, nameless corporation. So, I don't know what we got here. Some sort of incident. No, that's a bit of a wreck. So, I'll tell them, I'm not that nameless, faceless corporation. I'm one of God's creatures. And provided that I haven't harmed another human being, you can't say I broke a law. Sixth Amendment specifically states that I am allowed to face my accuser in a court of law. That's in our Bill of Rights. That is written in ink, man. That ain't written in pencil, that's in ink. So where is my accuser? Who have I harmed by smoking a joint? There is no accuser. So they got to get around this nasty piece of business by saying that you're this fictional corporation, and they'll read out the charges. If you say that's you, if you say I'm Todd so-and-so, they're going to assume you're talking about that fictionalized name. See, they're not going to tell you any of this stuff. And if you agree that that's you, you've just entered phase 1 of a contract with the government. I don't do that. I don't do business like that. I only do business with people that I want to do business with. What benefits do I have of this contract with them? I don't get any benefits. All I get is slapped with a big ass fine, or I got to pay them a bunch of money, or go to jail, or maybe even both. Fuck. So I tell them, no, you can't use my name in a commercial manner. Now, the other second part of it, see, they'll try to do all kinds of tricks in court. They'll try to say, okay, well, step forward. They'll read out the charges. They'll ask you how will you plead. I'm not making a plea until you establish proper jurisdiction here. What I see here is you guys masquerading under color of law is a criminal court, when in fact, this is a contract law court. This is an admiralty law court where you got to get me to agree to a contract before you guys can proceed. And I'm not doing it. I am not doing any such a thing. So they'll try to read out the charges and then ask me how I plead, even though I've already told them I'm not that fictional name in capital letters. They'll still try to trick you. And they'll try to say, step forward. Now, I don't know how many of y'all been in a courtroom. Probably most of us have, either criminal law or contract law, traffic moving violation, etc. There's a wooden fence in that courtroom. And that wooden fence represents what they call the bar. There's that word again. And that bar represents, the people stand behind the wooden fence, and then the officials stand behind the other one, the prosecutor, the judge, the clerk of the court, etc. What that basically represents is you're standing on dry land and they're on a ship. So now the laws of the sea apply. You're on an admiralty law court, which is contract law court, and if you cross that bar, either you or your lawyer, I don't know anyone, I would never hire a lawyer myself, I represent myself always, but if you hire a lawyer or you cross that bar, you've just went from dry land to a ship, and that's step 2. First is that they got to get you to admit that your name in capital letters. Then they got to get you to cross from dry land onto an Admiralty law ship, so that they now their rules apply. And then the third step is, how do you plead, right? They don't give a damn if you plead guilty or not guilty. If you plead guilty, great. You're going to get punished, either jail time or in the wallet. They prefer the wallet, by the way. Those are the 3 steps they got to go through. Well, I don't go through any of those 3 steps. I'm not that name in capital letters. No, I'm not crossing the bar and stepping off of dry land. And no, you have not proven jurisdiction at all. You've struck out 3 times in a row here. Am I free to go? Like, I ain't doing business with you guys. So that's basically how it breaks down. It's a really, really deep subject. I could probably make 10 videos on all the different ways they try to trick you. I mean, I had this one magistrate. I said, nope, I'm staying right here on dry land. And she goes, step forward, I can't hear you. Without batting an eye, I felt like I was on a Verizon commercial or something. I says, well, I'll talk louder then. Can you hear me now? and she tries to get me to submit to her authority. And she goes, and take your hands out of your pocket. Now, I know what she's trying to do. She's trying to make me believe that she has authority over me. She doesn't. Not at all. I have broken no laws. There's no injured party. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. As long as I don't harm another human being, damage their property, or commit fraud in my contracts, there ain't nothing illegal I can do. So I said, my hands are fine just where they're at. And finally she gives up, and she looks down, and she turns sideways, and she says, well, it's just a matter of respect. I go, a matter of respect? How about you respect the fact that I can do business with whoever I want? I don't have to do business with anybody if I don't want to. How about you respect my rights in that regard? Shakes her head. She looks at the prosecutor and says, well, should we issue an arrest warrant for Todd, seeing he hasn't shown up in court today? Now think about what she just said, okay? I'm standing right there, and because I wouldn't cop to that name in capital letters, because I wouldn't cross the bar, they're saying I'm not there in court, even though I'm standing right there. If that doesn't prove that it's a scam, I don't know what will. So what they end up always doing is they put it off for continuance. And, they come back in 3 weeks, come back another 3 weeks, and on it goes until you just say, listen, this is stupid, I'm not going. Like, I went to court 5 times in a row on the same stupid beef. And the 6th time, I'm like, I'm fucking tired of wasting my time, man. I got shit to do. I'm not going no more. I ain't going. So I didn't go. Now, if you don't know how to handle these situations, if you don't know the words to say, they'll issue an arrest warrant for you. But I know what to say because I've done my homework. And they just quietly withdrew the charges. I never heard from them again. There was no warrant for my arrest. See, they can't have it on their record that they lost and that free man on the land and being a sovereign being is real. They don't want that. Go look it up on Wikipedia. Go look up free man on the land. Look up sovereign. They'll say, oh, it's all a bunch of hocus pocus and it's all bullshit and nobody's ever won and yada, yada, yada. Oh, and they'll make mention of a guy that's lost because he fucked up, right? Some people go in, they learn a little bit, and they go in unprepared. They don't know how many tricks these motherfuckers have up their sleeve. They got plenty of tricks up their sleeve. And if you fuck up, they'll get you. Then they'll put it on Wikipedia that it's all full of shit. Look at this guy, he lost. Look at that guy, he lost. Yeah, because they went in unprepared. They didn't know everything they needed to know. So, like as I said, it's a very deep subject. But if you stick to your guns and you remember who you are, okay? You're a sovereign human being. I don't see any birds around here getting licenses to fly. I don't see any squirrels getting permits to fucking eat their fucking nuts out of the trees.
Why are human beings the only one that got to get permits for fucking? You need a permit to fart nowadays. You know, think about this. If it's illegal to do, like harming another human being is illegal, right? So you can't get a license to commit assault. You can't get a license to kill. You can't get a license to burn down houses. Like, you know, you can't get a license for anything that's illegal. And the flip side of that is if it's legal, lawful, you don't need a permit. I ain't asking nobody for permission to go about my business. I'm not going, oh, where do I go and get my driver's license from? Where do I get my permit from to you know, do this or that? It's all fucking goofiness, man. This is a prison planet, but I've taken complete control and I live free as a motherfucking bird. Nobody can do anything to me unless I've harmed another human being. So I hope you guys start to research this, because it's truly the only free way to live. It's true freedom. I don't have to answer to nobody. When you guys see a cop on the street or a sheriff, you guys get a little bit terrified. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to pay money, and fuck, I hate cops, and blah, blah, blah. I see that guy as a Walmart employee. When he pulls me over, I roll down my window and I go, hey, how are you? How may I assist you in keeping the peace today? Because they take an oath of office. Their number one thing is to keep the peace. That's what they signed up for. They're peace officers. They've taken over the role of also of policy enforcers for anyone who contravenes any act that they've written. They got to go out and collect money and round people up and arrest them, because that's the government's policy. But see, I don't work for the government. I'm not a member of the bar, and I don't have a social security number. Now, there is a side note to this. You can also have a social security number and do what I do. You know, you just have to make damn well sure that you never admit to that name in capital letters. Don't do it. Do not, it's not you. Don't fall for it. It's all a big fucking scam. So, anyways, I've said enough for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm TODD, signing off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Have a good one, folks.